styling your home makes such a difference. In the first week and a half, we were able to extract an offer of $1,050,000. If you are in a similar position yourselves and there's one just 2 or 3 doors up that have sold that you might think may deter the sale price of yours, well, definitely not. Not all the time that you sell for your best price or your dream price, they don't even have that price in their mind. Sometimes you can't mirror up those dates. Sometimes it's impossible to do that. So I'm Yash, and this is Tomorrow Defined, the podcast that takes you inside the real world of buying and selling property. As a real estate agent at Jealous Craig, I've helped hundreds of families sell their most prized asset with confidence, clarity, and strong results. And you don't need to be in the inner north of Melbourne to get value out of these episodes. The strategies, behind the scenes looks, and value I provide in these episodes will help you make smarter property decisions wherever you are. Mark and Elizabeth were one of my favorite clients to work with in my entire career. They have 2 kids, they're looking at upsizing. They live in a little 3-bedroom, single-fronted home in West Coburg, really nice spot. They approached me to sell their home. We took on the business, we guided them through the process, but just before we're going to go live, 2 doors up decided to come on the market. That threw a bit of a spanner in the works. We said, let's just wait until they go live, they sell, and then we'll make a decision from there. Now, they ended up selling for only $940,000, which the vendors were a bit disheartened about. They approached me and said, what should we do? Should we wait till a better market? I said, look guys, I personally don't think that they approached the strategy in the best way. I think they could have got more for it. I believe your price is very fair and I will back you 100% of the way. So obviously there was a bit of hard feelings around that and what they decided to do moving forward, right? They were thinking along the lines of, let's just wait. I don't think it's a great time. And this was just 2 months before they decided to go live. So we waited a couple of months. We waited till the new year came around as well. There wasn't as much property on the market. It was the summertime of selling this year as well. And we decided to go live. But the one thing that we did differently was style the property. Now, styling your home makes such a difference. But the problem was that these guys were living in there still. My vendors had 2 kids, still growing up, and it was a nightmare to be able to present the property in the best way just for the photos alone, let alone all the open homes, private inspections that we did. They were so accommodating, which is why they were one of my favorite clients to deal with. They just understood, they knew that they needed to do whatever it took to get the property up for sale, but most importantly, they trusted me. They trusted my advice of what to do to get the best price. Now, when in competitive, we got as much exposure to the property as possible, and we made most of the time on the market where there weren't a lot of other competitors. Now, I believe we did such a better job because in the first week, we had about 40 groups through the door. In the first week and a half, we were able to extract an offer of $1,050,000, which, as you can see already, it's already $110,000 more than what our competitors sold for up the road. My vendors were over the moon. They said, yeah, let's just take the offer and run. And I said, guys, we are under auction campaign. We're doing an auction campaign for a reason, to create competition. Now, the good thing was for my vendors is that we had a lot of people through the door. So the people that were interested, they saw so many other people around them. They were like, crap, we need to get our best foot forward. And that helped the actual interested parties, even though maybe some of them were neighbours, not interested, not in the right position to buy. The main interested buyers didn't know that. They just saw a lot of people, so that meant a lot of interest. So that's why we were able to negotiate quite strongly to get that $1,050,000 offer. We didn't even have to take into account the one up the road. So if you are in a similar position yourselves and there's one just 2 or 3 doors up that have sold that you might think may deter the sale price of yours, well, definitely not. It's usually 2 homes that are completely different scenarios. Again, you also don't know what 2 doors up situation was in their personal lives. They may have needed to sell. It might have been a really bad timing in the marketplace. There are so many different angles, right? Just quickly, guys, if you're a young family looking to upsize, or you're someone that wants to make a move with your property journey and you're feeling overwhelmed with where to start, feel free to use the link below to book a call with myself and my team. We'd be more than happy to help with a tailored strategy for your specific situation so you have the confidence to make the move. Whether you're looking at doing it now, whether you're looking at doing it down the line, we can definitely assist with any goals you may have. Now back to the episode. Going back to the story of $1,050,000, we extracted that offer after their initial offer of $1 million. We were able to negotiate them up to $1,050,000. We decided, let's put that on the market. I think that was a strong starting point. My vendors wanted that to be the ending point and go and not take any risk. But I said, let's trust the process. Let's go to a boardroom auction. If someone wants to consider contesting it, we'll run a boardroom auction. And for all of you that don't know what a boardroom online auction is, we practically run it over Zoom, or we do it in our boardroom at our office. And it's just a great way to bring the auction forward, still be under those auction conditions. So there's no cooling off period for the buyer, and it's an unconditional sale still. So there's less risk for our vendors. So we decided to do that. We ran it over Zoom. In 24 hours, we were able to generate 4 more active bidders, or registered bidders, I should call them. Not all of them were active, but 4 of them decided to contest the offer of $1,050,000. So obviously we did something right. We were able to generate really good interest into the property. We marketed the home really well, and we styled the home so much better than the one 2 doors up. So that obviously showed in the results. Then that night, we decided to run the boardroom auction, and we ended up selling for $1,180,000. That was 240 grand more than 2 doors up that sold that was identical in a similar market. So clearly our vendors were over the moon. And literally a week later, I referred them onto a broker, and they ended up purchasing their new home straight after it. So when I say it's my favorite clients, they were just really good to deal with, but also it was the best situation that you could ask for. They ended up selling 2 weeks prior to the auction date for a really good price, and they were able to purchase straight after it into their dream home, and they settled pretty much the same day as both. Like, they mirrored up the settlement dates, which exactly what you want to do in that situation. Not all the time that happens. Not all the time that you sell for your best price or your dream price. They didn't even have that price in their mind. Sometimes you can't mirror up those dates. Sometimes it's impossible to do that. So you have to be able to work with your agent, and you have to decide to yourself whether you want to sell first or whether you want to buy first, right? These guys, Mark and Elizabeth, they decided to sell first so they could make sure that they knew how much money they had to work with. Once they did that, then they knew that they could get a longer settlement on the sale. So we got a 90-day settlement, I believe it was. So that gave them 3 months to be able to purchase their dream home. And they did it in a week. So that worked perfectly. They were still actively looking at the marketplace. I was obviously guiding them through the whole process of the sale of theirs. So they knew that they were in a strong position. They knew they had interest. So they could start actively looking at properties whilst their home was still in the market. So if you'd like guidance around that, I know it's a long process, and I know that's one of the most perfect examples that I can give you, but again, not all of them happen that way, and it's important to have an agent that has your back, that has your best interests in mind, and that can create a strategy to maximize at that given time. Now, I've created another video around the winter sale months as well, around whether to maximize the winter months or to wait till spring. So keep in mind that that's a good video for you to watch. But if you also want more tailored advice around a specific strategy for your home, for your family, for your next steps, then get in touch, give me a call, or send me a DM on socials, and we can start a conversation from there and take things from there. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and peace. If you got value from today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to receive all of the insights, real-world strategies, and tips and tricks that help you sell smarter and move forward with confidence. If you'd like more support, feel free to check out the link in the show notes below to get more free resources and tips and tricks that can help you move forward as well. If you'd like more support, feel free to click the link below and book in a call with myself. I'm more than happy to help with any tailored strategies for yourself and your family's specific situation. And if you'd like to find me on socials, my handle is Yash Akpana on most platforms, where I also provide more insights and real-world strategies. See you next time.